Parliament's monsoon session began on July 20th, and since then, one question has echoed through both houses louder than almost any bill, any zero-hour question, any legislation passed. Where is Amit Shah? Not physically, that is the government's answer. They say both the Home Minister and Prime Minister have been coming to Parliament. The opposition is, however, asking something else. When will they stand up and answer? Answer for July 20th. For the police action, for the alleged use of pellet guns on students, for who authorized what happened when the Sansad Chalo march spiraled out of control. And this demand has not gone away. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, adjournment after adjournment, noise, slogans, walkouts, and again, call the Home Minister. Then on Thursday, the pressure moved one step higher. The Rajya Sabha Chairman himself asked Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju to echo the opposition's demand to Amit Shah. That sounds important. Almost like Parliament just ordered the Home Minister to appear. Except it didn't. No summons, no binding direction. And Rijiju's response was essentially, Shah is already coming to Parliament. You cannot keep repeating his name every day and call that accountability. So now we arrive at the real fight. Can Parliament actually force Amit Shah to answer? Can it force the Prime Minister? Can it force any minister? And if the law cannot force an answer, when does political accountability simply become optional? Let's clear that clutter. Today on Fault Lines. What can Parliament actually force? So there are two versions of this story. Opposition says, where is Amit Shah? Government says, he's here. You are the ones not letting Parliament work. Fine, forget the politics for a moment. What does the law actually say? And surprisingly, not very much. There is no rule saying the Prime Minister or the Home Minister must sit inside the House every day. And an opposition demand does not automatically become a summons, compelling a particular minister to appear and make a statement. The hard constitutional rule is Article 101(4). If an MP remains absent from all meetings of the House for 60 days without permission, the House can declare that seat vacant. Sounds dramatic, but here it is almost a distraction. Because 60 days tells you when an MP risks losing a seat. It does not tell you when a minister owes Parliament an explanation. And those are two completely different questions. For ministers, accountability works much more through parliamentary responsibility, procedure and convention. The Constitution makes the Council of Ministers collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, and parliamentary practice expects the minister concerned or another authorized minister to be available when that ministry has to answer questions. So Parliament absolutely expects answers. What it does not have is some simple button that says, Home Minister, appear now. And that creates the first real fault line here. Legally, you cannot simply force Amit Shah or the Prime Minister to appear because the opposition demands it. But politically, that is a completely different question. Because the law may tell you how long an MP can stay away. It does not tell you how long a minister can avoid answering the question everyone keeps asking. Accountability versus functioning. And this is where the legal question ends. And the political question begins. Because legal obligation and political responsibility are not the same thing. The opposition's case is easy to understand. The allegations concern Delhi police, the RAF, pellet guns, force used on students. All of that ultimately sits inside the larger Home Ministry chain. So their argument is simple. Don't send another minister to answer around it. Let the Home Minister answer directly. Fair. But now, flip it. Does demanding accountability give the opposition an unlimited right to stop Parliament until one minister speaks? Because Parliament has rules too. Members are not supposed to keep interrupting proceedings indefinitely. And Rijiju's argument is that repeated disruptions are now denying everyone else in the House their right to speak, debate, and legislate. So look at the contradiction. If a minister can simply wait for the noise to die, accountability becomes optional. But if the opposition can keep Parliament shut until every demand is met, functioning becomes optional too. And that is the actual grey area. Not whether Amit Shah is physically somewhere inside Parliament, not whether the opposition has a right to ask questions. Both things can be true. The real question is what happens when the government's duty to answer collides with the opposition's power to disrupt. Because the Constitution can tell us how long an MP may remain absent. It can tell us when a seat can fall vacant, but it cannot make Parliament function. For that, one side has to answer. and the other side has to allow that answer to be heard. Otherwise, Parliament does not become more accountable, it just becomes louder. You were watching Fault Lines. I'm Abhijit.